Welcome to the Guest Life Podcast, episode 22. Today we're going to be talking about health, beauty, and with Samantha Gabrielle with Bodega Wellness. I've been down at Bodega many times, and seeing Sam and her team in action is just a work of art. As you can see, our office is decorated quite nicely with a little bit of live energy and a lot of live energy in this room today. So we've got Samantha down here.
Thank you for having me.
It's amazing to have this conversation. These times are really exciting for everybody because you kind of get to share, unique passion with drive and entrepreneurship. And Samantha and her team have just kind of gone above and beyond with that, not only to help specific people, but help the community, businesses and individuals. And we're gonna share Samantha's story today.
Let's get started.
So tell us a little bit about Bodega, what your involvement is, how it kind of stemmed up, and then you're making waves not only in Hamilton but Burlington, London.
Yeah. So Bodega was born from the passion to help people help themselves, essentially. Specializing in hemp-derived products is where we started. It's really grown into a multifaceted healing space because we also supply plants and crystal healing energy with our plethora of beautiful, unique, crystals. People call them rocks. You can call them whatever you want. All I know is they carry a vibration and they can definitely impact your life in more ways than one, on top of all natural products, whether that be cleaning products, household products, beauty products, essential oils. So really, when you think of a bodega, you think of a little corner store that has everything you need in it. Well, Bodega Wellness is your one-stop shop for the soul, right?
Yeah. Well, it was amazing because I remember the first location up on the corner.
Yeah, Main Street.
Yeah, that was funny because the second you had the plant sales, you turn that corner and there'd be 5 cars stopped at the side of the street trying to shove plants in the back or getting stopped on the weekends. And now that you guys have moved into a little bit of a bigger location, when you walk into the store, guys, this is it's a game changer. It's a different vibe, different energy. And how did you kind of put it all into one?
It's a natural evolution, right? So like I said, it all started from the idea that, hemp-derived products are plant medicine, right? So with that plant medicine, we're getting a lot of positive feedback because there's no denying science in so many ways. CBD is scientifically proven to be let's just start listing them, an anti-inflammatory, natural anxiolytic. It helps regenerate bone tissue and muscle matter. It actually recepts off of your endocannabinoid system, which is a system in our body that recepts to every other system, our central nervous system, our digestive system, our skeletal system. So in essence, CBD has been known to be a natural homeostasis, which means a natural balancer. And any ailment derives from an imbalance in the body. And then from that, myself, Rachel, Elena, the owners, and all of our staff are very aligned in the spiritual community in the sense that we're drawn to it. What you're drawn to, what you attract will find you simply. And crystals and plants have always been a part of all of our lives. And what better way to provide that for other people than provide that for other people, right? And educate. It's all about educating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom, Wendy, she has had plants in our house my entire life. Whether they were winter plants inside, she'd bring them in from outside in the back garden, bring them in the winter, put them out in the summer, consistent watering. Now that I've moved down to the home, she's, she knows, Dan, can you water the plants when I'm gone? If she goes away for the weekend. And I think it's funny because I was just always so that's just my mom thing. There's such a distance. That's not going to be me. Why would that be me? And I never understood it when I was a bit younger and understood, how to care for something so much. How did you find your passion? Because obviously it spews out of you. How do you find your passion for this, healing other people and also getting into a space that, is unique for a lot of people?
Well, you'd say I have a bit of a unique story. I was born with a congenital heart disease. I had open heart surgery at 4 days old, and I kind of always grew up being very empathic. Also, artist, since I knew how to paint or draw or say my name. I'm crayons. But it really took form, I'd say, I don't know, when I was in my early 20s, I'm 29 now, so like 2021, I really got like that spark that I was like, okay, what is the bigger picture here? You know, what are we here for? What are
Yeah.
we here for? And then when you start asking those big questions, the universe provides. So first it was crystals, then it was Reiki. Actually, first it was art, then it was crystals, then it was Reiki. And then when I found CBD, it was game over. Game over. I started working in the CBD industry about 5 years ago. That's how I met Rachel, the owner, and it kind of just snowballed. You know, when you go through life thinking that you don't have any options, it's crazy to find an option that helps everything you're looking for. So they actually call it the miracle molecule. And once you just started doing the research, which a lot of it is free and online, you just become obsessed. If it's your calling, you know it's your calling because you can't escape it. Everything you do, every turn you take, it's still right behind you. So for me, I was lucky to be aligned with such wonderful women, and we created this space simply to allow other people to invite that into their lives as well.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I think, taking that personal touch and kind of understanding that when you go to work and you're building a team and you're building a space and you're inviting people into that space, creating that connection between passion and also, lifestyle, I think is so important. I mean, how is it expanding so rapidly in such a new industry when you talk about CBD? I remember for the first time when I went in there, talking to Rachel, who's one of the owners, Rachel was telling me all the benefits and all that. And, you do your research. And I think at first there's that, everyone's got their wall up, which is this real and how does this work? And then you just kind of, I find anyways, any new thing that you want to explore, you need to embrace. Yeah. You need to take that wall down and kind of take it to that next understanding, which is, for me personally, I started going to a naturopath rather than my family doctor. Not anything against that, but just, I found it was more of a what's going on rather than a what's wrong.
Exactly.
Right? How to take your body levels to, okay, I know I'm not feeling terrible, but I'm not feeling great. Or what is the feeling of great?
It's true. Like the first time I took CBD, because I suffered or was diagnosed when I was 18, the stigma, they say that there's always a diagnosis, but where's the answer or where's the remedy, right? So we're so quick to, in a pharmaceutical era, so quick to offer a prescription that will suppress an emotion or suppress a ailment, opposed to bring it up to the surface to heal, because the biggest misconception is that healing is not painful. Healing is the most painful thing in the world.
Yeah.
And in order to heal, you must feel it to heal it. There's no way around it. So the first time I took CBD, I remember just the neurotransmitters in my brain, literally, I felt the signs happening. It was like undeniable. I'd been smoking marijuana. I'm in the cannabis industry, although this is a hemp-derived product. Cannabis doesn't always support mental health. And that's there's no word of a lie about that, right? So for me, when I took hemp-derived CBD for the first time, I was like, whoa, I was just smiling. I was like, wow, like this is what it feels like to feel grounded, feel clear-headed, and almost have a little bit more energy, because the lethargic aspect of yourself that doesn't feel motivated, it dissipates. After I felt it the first time, I was like, there's no way this doesn't work. And like I said, it just kept going from one thing to another. The more I took it, I'd feel tingling sensation in my arm. When I was in grade 5, I broke my arm. I was like, well, that's the only indication I had for that specific area. Same with my ankle. I felt tingling sensation there. I was like, I wonder why. You do more research. Oh, bone, tissue, muscle matter. Well, it takes bone, tissue, and muscle matter years to regenerate itself.
Yeah.
Right? Last year, I had my second surgery I had an open heart surgery. I had a valve replacement. I have a couple of little mechanical things in me. I did all my healing post-surgery with CBD products.
Wow.
Strictly. It's going to be 1 year on Monday of this year, May 19. I got out of the hospital. I was like, no, I can't do this. I called up Rachel. I was like, please send me. At the time, it was only the Revive. That was the highest dosage. I'm like, I was taking 4 or 5 full droppers a day. 3 months later, I'm back at work.
Wow.
Right? Because I'm almost like, in my mind, I'm like, if this is helping me in an era where we feel like we're hopeless and helpless, then what can I do to create that change for other people? And then this was it. So that's why, once people try it, especially if they're really committed, like you said, you got to be committed to the process to get the results you're looking for.
Yeah.
You can't work out once a week and expect a six pack. Like, I know that, that's why it's not there right now, but mental health wise, meditation, mindfulness, it's all about how you apply those thoughts to your everyday life.
And you have to be open to receiving it. We talk about that a lot in business. And I mean, on the podcast, we've had it, so many people talk about it. And it's, you want to look good, you got to go to the gym and eat well. It's not rocket science. And I find the information is there. The willingness and the support is there. And it's funny that you talk about kind of wanting to, like, what do you want? I was having a conversation today, actually, with I just hired a life coach and not personal trainer, because I'm pretty versed in that, but someone that's he's gonna,
motivator.
Yeah, he's going to keep me accountable and come up with some workouts for me. And we were talking about it, and the conversation came up was like, I was embarrassed to ask for help. And I think a lot of us have that kind of embarrassment to say, like, hey, I don't really know what's going on. I don't know how I'm just feeling weird. It's not, you can't be as open as maybe you'd like to be to actually receive the help. And I think, it's awesome, like you said, kind of taking those steps in the right direction to heal yourself and just say, this is how I want to do it.
Yeah.
And this is how I'm planning on doing it.
Well, sometimes it's the intention too, right? So I set the intention when I wake up in the morning that I am open to helping people.
Yeah.
So that maybe somewhere within that frequency, it travels to the person that needs the help. And they pick up the phone and they call the shop and we have a 45-minute conversation about what they're going through.
Yeah.
Because you kind of double as a therapist sometimes, right? Because in order to be vulnerable enough to ask for help, you need to explain what you need help with. And that sometimes gets heavy as well. So, holding space is what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And becoming a good listener and finding the root of the issue. And we find that in business as well as, any relationship you want to talk about, whether it's friendship or a love relationship, if you, they're not mad at you because you didn't pass the catch up,
Yeah.
It's more than that. And I think, having the patience to listen well, which I know you guys do, because I've gone in there and not known what was going on and ended up with the right product.
That's what we do.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about what it's like being a part of a business on Locke Street. So, I live downtown Locke. Anyone from Hamilton, again, local podcast, they know you because of the greenery that's outside. But, what's it like being on Locke Street, getting foot traffic, being part of the community? I know you guys are very involved.
Well, I love it. I'm new to Hamilton. I'm from Vaughan.
Okay.
Originally Woodbridge.
Okay.
Much different atmosphere. Hamilton itself is it's everything. Like, really, it's got the green, it's got the city. It was mind blowing to me, and I fell in love with it, really. And with Locke Street, because it's such a tight knit community, where it's so easy to support one another. Mm-hmm. So I've never had an experience like this in my life. And I even worked like in a street, downtown Toronto, Queen Street, right? Like, you don't get that same camaraderie. Hamilton's like a family. Everyone's a family. And it's really nice. And that way you're able to spread more awareness through more channels because we're open to being there for one another.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
It's amazing.
It is amazing.
I like I said, guys, I've got my tree here and I take the best care of it, I would say. But
it looks real good.
Yeah, but allowing them, I remember when we were talking about, and we'll get into marketing a little bit now, especially being in the space that you guys are in, where, there's a lot of different industries, as many are, but being new, what do you find is the biggest motivator in terms of being connected and letting people into the space and sharing? And I know Modern Design Studio up the street, you guys just did all their planting and their new office space and kind of designed it, as well as get little gift baskets like this. Like, how do you let people enter into the world? Like, to talk to me about somebody that's, entry level, doesn't know anything about CBD, is very interested. What do they do? What's that person look like?
That person looks like someone who's willing to learn. I think every beginning starts with the willingness to see things from a different perspective, a willingness to be adaptable, a willingness to also change, because being fixed can sometimes limit our availability to open ourselves to more abundance. So if someone were wanting to be part of, let's say, this space, especially because it's the hemp industry, as much as it's the cannabis space, you want to say, we are really adamant on removing the stigma behind the differences, because hemp oil or CBD oil you get from your government dispensary is very different than what we manufacture at Bodega. So it's understanding quality. It's understanding the facets that go into what it is you're looking for. Because if you're looking to be a bud tender, then Bodega is not necessarily the place for that, right? There's a space for everything. But if you're looking in more, more of a natural remedy, even someone who's specifically like, let's say you're trained in psychology or physiology, or even someone who's going into natural medicine like acupuncture or chiropractor, like there's a lot of benefit to understanding what kind of medicine, natural medicine, you can offer your clients that could promote long-term healing. So it's just knowing a little bit more about what you want so that you can attract exactly what it is that you need, because everyone's got a different need.
Yeah, I remember feeling a little out there, like I needed to jump on the train, but then also like education for me was huge in terms of, what am I doing? How often do I do it? And I felt that, you and your team were great, especially, coming from sports world where it's like,
and you're
just
hitting your head left, right, and center out there,
just
right?
getting jacked up all the time and taking my pre-workout and going to the gym and all these different things. And it's like, we adapt and grow and learn, but we also, we grow up too, which is, I think, a lot to do with education. Educating the mind and educating the body, and what feels good and what doesn't. And as we get older, we kind of learn.
Exactly. Sorry to interrupt, because you just triggered my thought. Like, if your mind is the switchboard to the body, then you want to be able to feed your mind. And how do you feed your mind? Right? Like the nutrients you put into your body, yes, the omega-3s and all of that go to your brain, but also knowing that CBD is a natural neurogenesis, which means it helps naturally develop its own new brain cells, is revolutionary.
Yeah.
Like I took a course at U of T called Neuroscience, Mindfulness, and Meditation, and it talked about how mindfulness aids in neuroscience and regenerating of thought patterns or different neuropathic ways of thinking. So to think that a natural medicine like CBD can aid that, and then you doing the work, because you have to do the work, right?
Yeah.
You doing the work aids in that. Then what else? What else can you ask for? Mm-hmm. I remember being like a little girl, and because I was kind of shy, I had a hard time, let's say, talking or speaking and being vocal and like putting myself out there. And then even in tests, my memory, because you're anxious, you forget things, right? And then at this course, I had a woman ask me if I've ever been tested for being gifted. And the only answer I had to that was like, no, I just take a lot of CBD now. Because realistically speaking, my mind has become so clear that my thoughts generate as quickly as I'd like to speak them. And that only comes from, being mindful about what you put into your body and what you want to say. Because, you could have all these boxes in your brain, but you got to be able to know when to pull what out and when to say it. So It helps with memory as well. It also helps just like post, like say in sports, like post workout, or like even if someone's stuff, like say my brothers are both goalies, right? The amount of pucks those guys have got to the header, it's insane, right? And you can just tell, and and for me, I'm like, at least I know there's an alternative for the future, because, even in football, you see it happen all the time. Just a lot of neurodegenerative diseases in the brain happen. And, we're here for everybody, male, female, ages, animals. Like animals are like the biggest thing. You want to be able to help yourself, help your animal, because people will be like, my dog. And I'm like, how about you? Are you okay? Because your dog's sometimes a reflection of you too, right? It's crazy. People don't want to hear it, but hey, like, the facts are facts.
No, it's so true. And like, yeah, being open and to the learning and the opportunity that comes with it, right? Like, which is, understanding the healing process of your body changing, and also like, not expecting. I think it's not as extreme as some drugs where you're not getting a high, but you start noticing things. I mean, one of the big things I use it for is reading and focus. There's a mushroom extract I take as well that's just kind of just helps me focus. I'm very sporadic, as most visionary entrepreneurs are. For me, I never used to be able to read because I'd be reading the page and I'd be thinking about something else, and then I'd read 2 pages and I'd be like, I don't know what I just read. And now I've learned and trained my body to calm down. And if I didn't like I catch myself much sooner throughout, a page instead of a chapter.
Yeah.
Saying like you know what, I was thinking about something. Be self-aware. Reread the paragraph, and it's like it's interesting to see. Even for me, like reading is an incredible change in lifestyle.
I'm a big reader.
Yeah, I
Huge
couldn't.
reader.
This was the first year I've ever finished a book.
Well, in an age where your attention span is limited to 5 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, it actually is a superpower to be able to hold concentration. Mm-hmm. And I think that's another thing that I like to raise awareness around is, it's nice. It's amazing. Technology is amazing. Technology is amazing, but your attention is even more amazing. So what you allow, you will become, right? Mm-hmm. So allowing yourself to read a chapter opposed to getting stuck on that infinite scroll is so much more long-term beneficial for your growth than something that's just keeping you stagnant.
Yeah, I agree, especially as a trait, for sure. So let's talk about, the vibe is chill, it's cool, it's hip. Swag out the ass. Bodega. Let's talk about marketing, brand strategy, how the hell that you guys have a clothing line that I would love to have. I'm still waiting for my outfit, but whatever. But yeah, I think your branding is clean cut, ready to go. It's a very widespread attraction in my opinion. Everybody that's listening that hasn't seen Bodega, you're obviously living under a rock, but whatever. Just drive down Lock Street and you'll see it, and it's a vibe. Where do you take, natural remedies and CBD and plants and Reiki and now clothing and take it into and turn it into a business model where you're going to attract new clients, you're going to make people feel comfortable? Tell me a little bit about that strategy. I think it's phenomenal. I think talk about Instagram. I think, your Instagram page is lights out. I've been on your website. I think it's great. Branding, packaging, clean, slick.
That's what made me fall in love with it, really. Being an artist, you are drawn to things that are beautiful. You constantly want to surround yourself with beauty. And the beauty of Bodega is its simplicity. I think that what we do really good is not overcomplicate things, especially in our product line. Lamb is our product line, a sister to Bodega. Mm-hmm. There's something to really say when like a name can speak for itself, a logo can speak for itself, and our marketing team does an amazing job at creating that inclusive, mindful appearance. Because we want to make sure that we're practicing what we preach at the same time, right? So especially with the clothing, everything is just a snowball. It's an idea. A lot of the stuff that we do, it comes from like the Newton apple hidden on the head. Like, oh, we should do that. Oh, that's an amazing idea. Okay, we'll get it done. It's really a fast-paced environment. Planning is great, and we do that too. But there's a lot to say from something that just is so naturally just evolves that you don't even know where it came from. It just showed up and you're like, wow, this is amazing. We're manifestors. We're master manifestors at Bodega. So we've just manifested this like incredible brand, and it really speaks for itself. And I think that's really important.
And where do you see it going in the near future? Do you guys have some big goals? How are you going to attract more business? Especially, are you guys online? How do people kind of get in touch with you in terms of getting your product? Well,
we have our 3 locations, Hamilton, Burlington, and now London. So we're pretty set when it comes to that Ontario distribution. Really, it's just going to keep evolving. It's all an evolution, right? So wherever from last year to this year, we're in a completely different space. From this year to next year, who knows what will happen, because I think what's best is to keep your options open in regards to what does expansion really look like, right? So being that we're a bunch of strong women, it can only be something beautiful, right? I think it was, who was it? Buddha, one of the greats. They're like, the women are the future. And I mean it.
Totally.
They said it. Google it. I can't Google it right now. But someone said, like, really, truly, because there's something to say about that feminine energy. And not only just women. I'm saying we both have yin and we both have yang energy. That's male, female energy. When you tap into your yang energy, you get shit done. When you tap into your yin energy, you allow yourself to receive and also to co-create, because we birth life, right? So it's all about what's our next life, what's our next project, what's our next move. And really it comes from like I said, that Newton. Oh, wow, that's an amazing idea. Because sometimes it just comes out of nowhere and you don't even know.
Yeah, and you hit the ground running.
That's more or less what it is, right?
Yeah. How do you find time in your day-to-day to kind of be this person for Bodega, have a personal life, and just what does a day in the life of Samantha look like?
A lot of stillness. You would think I do a lot of moving when I get to work, like moving plants, moving product, all that stuff. But a lot of it comes from me also being able to quiet the mind. Sometimes I'll like be in the shop in silence just because I like the sound of nothing. Sometimes it really allows me to be more present. Hopefully, like when I get home, sometimes I have energy to paint, because that's another way that I release. More or less, it's just with intention. I live with intention. So I'm big on meditating. Last night I did almost like 2.5 hours of meditating. I fell asleep meditating, woke up like feeling refreshed and recharged. And you have to do it, right? Like there's days or weeks that I won't even tap into that. And I'm like, yo, like, why are you off? Oh, that's why. So I hold myself accountable for things that I need to do in order to be there for people, because you have to be someone who helps yourself at the same time. You can't help others if you can't help yourself. Yeah. So a lot of it is just maintenance, everyday maintenance, like a lot of the pleasure I get, or a lot of the purpose that comes from me, is helping people. Like when you get a phone call from a 7-year-old woman who tells you that she's not scared of dying, my perspective is a lot different than it was even a year ago, going through my own like, oh, am I going to die situation? I was like, oh, well, I made it out the other side, so why am I here? It's having purpose. Yeah. And a lot of it is just like, getting the ego out of the way and just following more with like that spirit intention. Like, how can I help for the highest good? That's always what I do. I always ask myself, what would my higher self do? Like, what am I called to ask for? And, mastering a situation just brings more situations, and you just keep mastering them. So I think with me, to answer that question, is just being more mindful, because every day is different. No, I get it. Routine is great. And my routine is really listen to your body, listen to your energy levels. Because there's days, you can ask Rachel and Lena, I'm like, dead. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know if I can move, because a lot of it is like the energy I put into it. So I need to be more mindful that there are days where I do need to recharge, and that's okay, right? Yeah. I'm Italian. I'm a go, 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 go. And sometimes you need to stop. So I think my message to myself when you watch this back is just chill.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Honestly, thank you for having us.
All Bodega's information is going to be online. We always give this message at the end of our podcast for all the listeners. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're now on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all our channels. If you can like and share us, it means the world, because we can kind of spread awareness in terms of how many phenomenal entrepreneurs there are in the Hamilton area, and what the energy and the passion that people have in our community to help our community is just astounding. And, we want to ask and finish with the master question is why not me? Why not now? So you can really take away a lot from this podcast in terms of that conversation and that question. So Sam, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Dan. And on behalf of Bodega, thank you for always being such a light for us as well. Because your energy, it radiates and it impacts other people, and you don't even know it. And like I said, it's all snowball. Yeah. So let's just build like a fort.
Thank you so much.
No problem.